Hello and welcome. So in this video I would like to show you something I built in Minecraft, which is essentially a playable dungeon modeled after the awesome Zelda game series. As you can see, it's meant to be played on peaceful, on single player. You can download the map, but more on that later on. What you see right here is the introduction area, and it's more just an atmospheric entry into the dungeon and holds no real weight apart from jumping over blocks, which you will probably be doing a lot. So past this door is the general introduction area where the rules are posted on the wall. You can pause the video here in case you want to read something or it goes a little too fast. At this point I would also like to say thanks to my friend Elflexor, who is recording this video for me. So here we see a chest filled with stones. This is just a general basic mechanic. There will be chests and you're allowed to take one slot of items, with general exceptions for armor or apples, golden apples for healing and stuff. You pick up the stone, you throw it on the wooden plate, and that will keep the door open so you can pass through it even though you can't step on the wooden plate yourself. What you see here is a general normal door. There will be a lot of these. It requires a sand key. You can see in the chest exactly what the sand key looks like. I would advise you to take one piece of sand, and for each appropriate door as well, a fire and a diamond block with you so you can remember what color key you have, since you will at times have multiple different colors of keys and you will not be it will be kind of difficult to remember if you have a blue one now or have a red one. So try and take them with you. Here we see a blue door, and the blue door indicates the end of this part of the dungeon. You will find a key in there that will open up the main path to the final room of the dungeon. Here we see the exceptions to the rules. Iron blocks, for example, are the only blocks you are allowed to place somewhere, but they are only allowed to place them on already existing iron blocks. Clay is the only block you are allowed to destroy. You may burn leaves if needed. You may place redstone between redstone connections that already exist to bridge the transmissions, and you are allowed to place ladders you find inside chests next to already placed ladder blocks. This will only take place once, and it's quite obvious where. In this box you will find armor, which you can take with you. I really advise you to take it with you, as it will lower a lot of the fall damage that will be coming later on. You're also allowed to take an extra pair with you in case you want to store it somewhere later on, which you will be able to. On this wall you see the general tips, and I would really advise you to read these and take it to heart, because it will make a lot of the riddles much easier. So now it's off to the first room of the dungeon. The first room is kept extremely simple, and there is really no big surprises in here, as will the most of the rooms I will show you in this video. Sadly, I do not have enough time to show you the more exciting rooms and everything, but there will be a short trailer sequence at the end that will highlight some of the highlights from the next rooms, and I would really advise you to play so you can see the rest as well, which is actually a lot more impressive than the room seen here. So as you see, Flexor is doing it correctly. You should just go into a room and just for first time explore everything inside it, so you're sure you don't miss anything. Really explore everything, and once you find something, just follow the way till the end. So here we see the first fail of our dear cameraman. And here's number 2. There we go. So he finally realized that there is a block above him that stops him from jumping, which will actually be around a lot, you know, just some little nice mean twists make your day miserable. So by pushing that lever he actually opened the door and is now able to go inside, open the chest and get a sand key. And with this key he will be able to open the door, which will transport him forward to the next area. The next area is actually the only part left of the original dungeon that I built, which was a lot more simple in concept and everything, and not as grand scale as this one. Most of the dungeon started out as just a really short part, and I never imagined it actually ending up getting the scale it has today and taking up as much of the map. This is another thing I really generally dislike putting into dungeons, because it's a labyrinth, and labyrinths, in my personal opinion, are just a pain to do. So I just put this one single one in here since I didn't really have any good ideas back then, and I kept it really short and merciful as well. So with that, Key is now able to proceed out of this very short introduction part and proceed into the next room as well. The next room was actually intended to be a lot more difficult in the beginning, but due to its complexity and me just being not practiced enough in actually, making something like this, I just didn't make it. I just couldn't make it work the way I wanted it to. So it ended up being a rather simple introduction room. Also, I would like to point out that most of the stuff you see here was actually built and mined by hand, and nothing was really cheated away by the give command, except for a few instances. For example, the gold blocks, the diamond blocks obviously, and every absurd overuse of obsidian seen inside the dungeon. Oh! Now that he's almost completed this part of the dungeon, I would like to point out a few things. First off, he will enter the central room that will lead to the 4 separate rooms, including the final room, that will not be accessible from the start. You first have to finish the easy introduction part, where you get a special item that will open up the 2 separate parts. At the end of each of the 3 parts, you will find a key that will open up the central main line to the final room. I would advise you to store these keys in the chest in the middle, just so you don't lose them when you die. So here we are. It's almost finished, and at this point I would just like to wrap up and say thanks to everybody who helped build the dungeon, make the video and everything. Everybody on the server helped a lot, and big thanks to you guys. So there's nothing left to say but the poor edited trailer sequence that will show in a few seconds and highlight some of the more impressive parts of the dungeon. Thank you for watching, and I hope you will have fun playing this.